Hi class, we're still in week 1 and now we're into lesson 3.3, and this lesson is about nature's design principles as a driver for innovation. And again, as we talked about in the last lesson, even though in this class we want to think about the broader set of nature's design principles, for now we'll focus on biomimicry's life's principles as a driver for radical innovation. The first thing I want to talk about is what we mean by radical innovation. And when we say radical, it is in contrast to or versus incremental innovation. You know, we all hear that, oh, we need more innovation, right? Companies are always saying, oh, we know we need to be more innovative, but they use those terms pretty loosely to say we need to be more innovative, we need more innovation, we need to be more creative, but all those terms are kind of blended together. Now, some of you as designers may know exactly what I'm talking about. Some of you may be more new to this. So I'll tell you what I'm talking about when I talk about radical innovation. So if you look at a chart of technological innovation, you can go from incremental, which is making changes, more or less small changes, to something that already exists, to radical. That's doing something completely new or in a completely new way. So that's the difference between incremental and radical technological innovation. Now, most companies, really big companies in particular, are very good at incremental innovation. They do it in-house. They come up with new models every year, right? So whether it's a cosmetic change or it's more efficient, new features, that's incremental innovation. What we're finding, not just myself and my colleagues, but others, find that large companies really struggle with radical innovation. They're terrible at it. And yet when they talk about we need more innovation, what they really mean is they need more radical innovation. They can't do it in-house, and even if some design firm or engineering firm comes up with something radical and hands it off to them, they don't know how to deal with it inside their corporation. And that actually gets into what we were talking about earlier with nature's principles and how you apply all this biomimetic design to businesses and organizational structures and practices. But we're not, sorry about that, we're not talking about that right now. So that's the difference between incremental and radical innovation. The other thing to keep in mind is this part of the graph, market adoption. So often when you think about radical innovation, something really different, it's actually directed at a niche market. So there aren't very many applications of it. So if you're designing a new part for a spaceship, okay, well that's a niche application, right? So there's a bunch of radical innovation that goes on for very specific, highly, very small, very well-defined markets. That's not really what we're that interested in. I mean, sure, that's great, but what we're interested in is this end of it. We want widespread market adoption. We want disruptive innovation. And what we mean by disruptive is when a new product or new version of a product or service or process replaces what's there. It disrupts the market, okay? So an incremental innovation can actually be incremental and yet widespread. It's widely adopted. It disrupts what was there before. But what we're really talking about is a radical innovation that is also disruptive. When we're talking about sustainable design, we're really talking about being up here. So we're looking at radical, not incremental innovation, and we don't want to stick to little niches, right? That's not going to be world changing. We want to be out here, widespread disruptive adoption. So using that graph we've referenced a couple times now, what we're aiming for is really radical and disruptive design, right? So if we want sustainable design, we're not interested in reaching the few. We want it to reach the many so that we can support life on Earth. Okay, so in the last lesson we talked about how following just a couple of these life principles results in a much more sustainable design, right? So just even following a few of the life's principles will result in a much more sustainable design. So when you evaluate a design against life's principles, you'll much more have much greater capacity to understand sustainability, look at it in new ways, and then hopefully drive innovation. Now, if you put sustainability aside for a moment, I know you're all about sustainable design, but just put that aside for a moment and look at these principles slightly differently as target design principles. If you look at them this way, then you can use them to drive that radical innovation we're talking about. So, how do we do that? We have our little friend back again, our little questioning friend. By simply asking this question, how can I achieve these design targets in my design, you will bust open your design thinking, which is the first and very crucial step to achieving radical innovation. To achieve radical innovation, you need to look at your design challenge in entirely new ways and with an entirely new and seemingly impossible set of targets. In lesson 3.1, you found some examples of products that clearly exhibit some of life's principles, and I'm guessing those that you found would be considered either sustainable or radical innovations. So you can go, reflect on that a little bit. And during your BCI, you found examples of life's principles in nature. Now, hopefully both of these activities sparked your imagination and helped expand or deepen your thinking about what sustainability and sustainable design mean. In assignment 3.3, which is the only other thing you have in this lesson, you'll be evaluating a product against life's principles. Now, all of them this time, so not just a couple. And as you do this, my goal for you is that two things will emerge. One will be an evaluation of the sustainability of that product and a set of recommendations for making it more sustainable by trying to achieve more of life's principles, which is the usual reason to evaluate some design against life's principles. Okay, so if you learn biomimicry, that's what you use life's principles for. And that alone is a great tool for you as sustainable designers, or if you're in the general area of sustainability. So that tool alone is fantastic, full stop. However, the other thing I want you to notice is how your recommendations are also fantastic ideas for radical innovation. So by using life's principles, you can not only figure out how things can be more sustainable, but also come up with radical new ideas for innovation. Because as we said at the beginning, truly sustainable designs that support life on Earth, will be radical innovations. Okay, so I hope you have fun, great fun with this assignment, and I will see you next week.